Hi everyone, it's Deborah again. We're back for day 2 of Soul Reset Yoga, and I'm back in Still Point at Chris's house on the Methodist University campus. Thank you so much for coming back. I'm excited to see you again. We're going to begin today seated for our warm-up, okay? So have a seat, nice cross-legged position. If you feel like this is just not comfortable for you, you can always put a blanket underneath you here or a pillow to kind of bring your hips off the floor and get a little bit more comfortable there. So feel free to do that, okay? First thing, let's kind of come into the space, breathe. We talked yesterday about using the breath to kind of center yourself. So just close your eyes, take some breaths. Nice deep breaths. Try to deepen your breath. Set aside everything outside the room, everything that's going on. Start to empty your mind. Bring yourself into a place of peace. Yoga, the word, means union or yoke or connectedness. And the idea is you're getting in union with yourself, with the universe. You're sort of finding a connected balance. So that's what we're aiming for here, okay? All right, let's begin. We're going to start with a sort of a cross-legged seated forward fold. We talked about forward folds. So leading with your chest, just kind of hang over your legs. And you're likely going to feel that in your hips, maybe your legs, depending where your flexibility is and where your tightness is. Just hang over, relax your head, relax your neck. If you're not going very far, that's fine. Just kind of breathe into those places where you feel tension. Breathe into the tight places that are stopping you from going further. And breathe deeply. And now pivot around a few degrees toward your outside foot, the one that's sticking out, and the knee that's with it. And feel that stretch kind of move around your hips to another spot. Kind of trying to open up those hips. And just hang there and breathe. You can rest your head on your knee if it reaches that far. And again, breathe into the places where your legs don't want to go any further. And come back around to the front. See if maybe you can actually sink a tiny bit deeper than you were before. And then just like with a standing forward fold, roll your body up, roll your back up to straight. Nice and tall, neck long, shoulders relaxed. Now we're going to twist around. We talked about twists yesterday. So just anchor one forearm against your inside of your leg, set the other hand behind you, and then use those two to push your twist around. Use the forearm and the hand up behind you. And as before, don't overstrain your neck. Just let it be a natural lengthening and twisting and progression of your spine. And breathe. And come up and swap out your arm and your hand and twist the other direction. Long neck, relaxed shoulders, wide open chest. And back to center. We do everything both sides in yoga, so switch your legs out. Recenter yourself. You've got these sit bones underneath you. Make sure your weight is evenly distributed on both of those. And then when you're ready, bow forward. And hang and relax and breathe. Feel that stretch in your hips. Then pivot around to the foot that's now out in front and the knee that goes with it and hang over those. Feel that stretch move around your hips. Just relax into that stretch. And come back around to the front. Hanging over, sinking a little bit deeper than before. And then roll up from the base of your spine, through your shoulders, and back to a nice tall sitting position. Now we'll repeat the twist that we did. So, anchor, place, and twist. Sit tall. Breathe, and just feel the twist. And then swap arms. And come back to center. We'll do one more pose while we're down here. This is called the bound angle pose, also known as cobbler or butterfly. And it's not one that I excel at particularly. Some people can just be like this and their knees are on the ground. That is not me for sure. I need a little help with my hands back here to even bring my knees out a little bit so you can see what works for you. But you want to stretch out. We're trying to open up these hips here. So stretch the psoas muscles. So bring those out. You can pretend it's butterflies and flap butterfly wings a little bit, or you can just press them out and down. All right. Bring your knees together. Pound on your legs a little bit to get rid of that stretch. All right. And we're going to come up on our knees. This is called the gate pose. All right. This is going to be a side stretch, a side bend. If you remember yesterday, we did the half moon. There's the same family there. So for this, first get yourself centered, kneeling. Okay. You can always put an extra cushion under your knees if you feel like that's just not comfortable on the floor. But if you're okay here, knees kind of straight under these pelvic bones we were talking about. And your feet are turned up on behind you, okay? We're going to stretch one leg out to the side, okay? So get yourself balanced and stretch it on out. You can turn it out just a little bit to make it comfortable. So this knee is kind of up, okay? But you want to keep your hips squared forward as much as you can, okay? So get used to this spot a little bit. And then we're going to bring arms out to the side, palms up, and then reach over the top. And as we talked about with half moon, the effort is not to scrunch over here, the effort is to stretch over here. So don't feel like you need to go out way down over your leg, more like reaching out into the distance, okay? So you really feel that opening up of your rib cage, stretching along your hips and your side. And breathe, don't forget to breathe. Relax your shoulders. And what you don't want to do here is any twisting or anything. You want to kind of keep all of this in the same plane, except for that foot stretched out behind you. You should be able to just fit yourself all in between two walls here. All right, so just keep reaching and keep breathing. And come back to center. And bring that leg back in. And get yourself recentered here. And take a breath. And you guessed it, we'll do the other side. All right, so leg out. Turn the foot out just a little bit to sort of match the way your hip is turned out. This side of your body stays straight up and down. And then we'll bring arms out, palms up. And then reach over your head and bend your body. And feel the stretch all throughout that side. But feel yourself anchored, nice and strong, nice and firm. Keep breathing. Relax your shoulders. And back to center. And take a minute just to feel what that felt like to you. Your body's a little more stretched out on the sides. Take a deep breath. Next up, something you're going to see in a lot of yoga classes, and that is a table pose, which is a great transition pose, and then cat-cow. It's hard to get to a class that doesn't do cat-cow, so love it, hate it, it's part of life, okay? So what we're going to do for the table is, I'm going to put this, time to put the hair up here, but you want your hands underneath your shoulders, flat back, knees straight behind your hands, feet straight behind your knees. All of this is kind of the same width apart, these hip bones, these knees, these feet, these hands, okay? Here we are in table. That's it. That's all there is to table, okay? And then cat-cow, what usually comes next, is a combination pose, okay? And the cat is sinking your back, sinking your belly, lifting your behind up in the air, lifting your shoulders back and your head back. And then cow is ducking all of that underneath, okay? Arching your back, lifting your shoulders, tucking your head under. So we're going cat and we're going cow, all right? And this is a good one to coordinate your breath. Okay, so see if you can cat on an inhale and cow on an exhale. And try that on your own, in your own time, with slow, deep breaths. Do maybe 4 or 5 rounds, okay? Breathing in as your back sinks and your head goes up, exhaling as your back goes up and your head drops. And that's cat-cow, okay? Did that go okay? All right, what usually comes next after cat-cow is, and this is all kind of sequenced together a lot of times and fits together well, is downward dog. You've probably heard of that. It's a classic yoga pose. Seems like if you've heard of anything, you've probably heard of downward dog. Okay, so let's learn it. We're in the same table pose we were in before. Okay, everything situated here. And then what you're going to do is curl your toes under and then stretch your butt to the sky, okay? And now you have a lot of modification options here. You don't have to straighten your knees if it's not comfortable. Your feet can be a little closer in, a little further out, whatever seems to work for you, okay? And walk your feet in place a few times, one foot then the other, to kind of stretch out each leg a little bit. And then ultimately what you want to do is you want to pull your head back in. You want to pull all your body back toward your hips, okay? So you want to really stretch out your shoulders. Nice wide hands. Stretching way back, as far back as you can get from your hands. So your shoulders are wide open and your hips are way back in the air. Any variation on this is perfect. All right, come back to your knees. And then yesterday we learned child pose. Go ahead and sink back into child pose. Knees together or apart, whatever's comfortable for you. Relax your chest onto your thighs and put your head on the floor. And you can wrap your arms down at your sides. It's a great resting pose after those tables, cats, cows, and dogs. And just breathe here and feel the impact of those poses on your body. All right, rest is over. We're going to go back to table and then we're going to go from there to plank. You may already know plank from other kinds of exercises you've done. But okay, from table, we're going to just go onto the balls of your feet and straighten your legs, okay? And you want one nice long line in plank, a long neck, long straight back, down to your legs, down to your feet. As you can feel, this is really working your arms and your core. And just hang here in plank as long as you feel comfortable. But as I said before, you can abort any pose at any time and go back to the nearest rest pose. So this one, when you're ready, knees back down and rest back into child's pose to relax your back. All right, let's come up to standing now. Back to our number one pose, mountain pose, if you recall. Get yourself situated in mountain pose. Long neck, string lifting your head up, shoulders relaxed, feet parallel, nice alignment centered under your hips, and arms at your sides, mountain pose. Breathe. See if you remember what you felt like when we started. See if you feel different now. And just take a moment here in mountain pose. If you were at all hesitant to try yoga because you thought maybe it was a little bit weird, a little bit foreign, I hope you'll set that aside. Yoga is, as you've been seeing, not weird, not foreign. It's awesome, it's wonderful. It has so many health benefits, which we'll talk about another day, but it is really great for you. And it's actually been around a long time. It originated in India some thousands of years ago. And it came to this country hundreds of years ago. It's most commonly said that Swami Vivekananda brought it to the Chicago World's Fair in 1893. But there were practitioners prior to that, but that's when it kind of became part of a little more mainstream, a little more known. And then, of course, in the last 20 or 30 years, it's just really exploded in popularity. And now it's everywhere and it's all kinds. But yeah, the fact that it came from India, don't let that in any way be a stopping point to you. Many fabulous things came out of India. For example, apples, oranges, buttons, chess, shampoo, cataract surgery, which I just had on my eyes. So great things come out of India. And this has been long since Americanized. So just a wonderful practice and not one that you would want to disregard because you had concerns about its origins. All right, next up we're going to go back for some wide foot, wide-legged poses. All right, we're going to master the warrior two and the triangle, okay? Two other great yoga poses that really are strength and power poses, okay? So we want legs wide, and as I said before, sometimes wider is actually easier. So if you feel like you're struggling a little bit, don't bring your feet in, bring your feet out, okay? So we want to first turn out a foot, choose your foot. We're going to turn it out 90 degrees, and as I said, when you're turning out a foot, you're turning out a leg, okay? So your hip turns out. So that's going to skew your hips a little bit toward that direction, okay? You still want to keep your torso, your upper torso open to the front, okay? But let your lower torso, your hips, bend toward that open leg a little bit. This foot over here stays parallel, stays forward facing, and this one, the heel kind of lines up with the arch, okay? So that's our base location, all right? And for warrior two, there is a warrior one and a warrior three that we'll check out on other days, but today it's warrior two, sometimes called hero two. Also, just because yoga has been around so far, so many places, You do hear different names for the same pose, or you see the same pose done different ways, okay? So don't worry about that. Everybody does yoga a little bit differently. It's not like tennis where you have the rules and these are the rules of tennis. Yoga, it's more of an art form sometimes. So be open to the possibilities. Okay, warrior two. We're going to start in this starting point. Hips nice and level. Even though you're turned, try to keep them level here. All right, shoulders relaxed. Arms up to shoulder level, straight out. And then this turned out leg, we're just going to bend. Okay? So there we are. And so ideally you want this kind of straight up and down from here. If you're really good, maybe your thigh will be a little more parallel to the floor, but I have long legs, so that gets a little uncomfortable. But arms are out, leg is bent, and then you're gazing over that forward leg, over that forward arm. And this is warrior pose, okay? So settle into it, chest wide open, shoulders relaxed, neck long, energy shooting out from both hands, fingertips, hands reaching apart from each other. And when you've had enough, you can always come up. Otherwise, go ahead and straighten your leg and bring your arms down and turn that foot back forward. And here we are back. Take a breath, and then we'll do it on the other side. So turn out your other foot and line it up with the forward foot, heel to arch, hips turned a little bit, chest forward. Take a breath and get ready, and let's try it with the inhale, exhale this time. Inhale, arms up to shoulder, and exhale, bend your knee out and down. And you can always adjust that back foot if you want to stretch the legs a little bit further. Gaze out over your forward hand. Reaching from one hand to the other, shoulders relaxed, chest open. Feel the power of this pose. Keep breathing. It's called the warrior, so feel yourself strong and brave and powerful. And come back to center. Foot forward. Woo! And take a moment here. We'll leave the feet apart because we're going to do triangle pose, which also requires feet apart. Triangle pose has an easy Sanskrit name, Trikonasana. Triko, like triangle. Trikonasana. And everything ends with asana because asana means pose or posture. So if you want to look yoga smart, you can throw that around. Oh, let's do Trikonasana. Okay, so let's go back to the other side, our first side. And we're going to turn out the foot in exactly the same way we did for warrior pose. Okay? So one foot forward, one foot turned out, heel lined up with arch, chest forward, hips slightly turned. Get ready to be moving. All right, so this one the leg's going to stay straight, unlike warrior two. All right? But this one, we're going to inhale, arms up with palms forward here. And then you're going to reach out toward that forward leg just a little bit. And then windmill yourself down. Okay? And now this, you can end up anywhere. If you're here, that's great. If you're here, that's great. If you're here, that's great. Anywhere is fine. But you want to try to stretch the distance from hand to hand. If you can, you want to look up a bit, but again, not in a way that strains your neck. And you want to breathe here. And you want that chest wide open, okay? So we don't want any bending over like this. We want wide open. And breathe and reach. And when you're ready, inhale up. Back to center. Foot in, arms down. Triangle pose, Trikonasana. Take a breath, feel the energy that got coursing through you. Some of these wide-legged poses are real power poses, so you can really feel them. And let's do that on the other side now. So you know the drill. Foot out, lined up, foot straight, straight, out, lined up, hips, chest. And this time, palms front, arms out, reach a bit, and pivot down, and look up. Chest wide, hands reaching apart. Keep this hip back, don't let that hip turn forward. And keep breathing. And when you're ready, inhale back up. And exhale back together. All right, back to mountain pose and just take a moment, okay? Take a moment to let yourself feel relaxed and strengthened and empowered. Get those shoulders down, get that neck long. You can bend your knees slightly if you want. Pelvis tucked under. And just feel the energy running through your body. Mountain feels like a rest pose now, doesn't it? And close your eyes, just breathe. All right, let's try one more new pose. This is pyramid, okay? So we'll go back to a wide stance. But this time we're going to shift all the way in one direction, okay? So turn one foot all the way out and then center your hips over that one. And the back foot is kind of at a slight, maybe 45-degree angle here to give you some stability. You want to feel some stability here, okay? And then what we're going to do is a kind of a forward fold type movement over this outstretched leg. This is pyramid pose, okay? So for now, let's not worry about the arms, okay? As we've done with other forward folds, lead with your chest, but not in a exaggerated way, okay? Just bowing and come out to horizontal, okay? And then lengthen the back of your neck and just hang here. You can do anything you want with your hands and just hang here at a horizontal and breathe. And come back up. And let's try that one more time, but this time see if you can put your arms, clasp your elbows behind your back, all right? Something like that. If not, just kind of twist your hands together, something to keep your shoulders back, okay? And we'll try that again. Ready? Bow forward, and then straighten the back of your neck. If you want to, this time you could go a little bit further than horizontal, but don't let your back get too bent over. Try to keep that openness. This is a bit of a balance pose too. Keep breathing, shoulders relaxed, chest open. And bring yourself back up and unfold and come to center. And we'll do that on the other side, pyramid pose, okay? Interesting different pose names. Some of them are very obvious, like forward fold or head to knee or something like that. Others are a bit of a stretch. Some of them are more descriptive, like the downward dog, the warrior, that kind of thing. pyramid. This is sort of a pyramid with your legs. I don't know exactly about the upper body, how it makes it a pyramid, but I didn't name it. Okay, so this time again, we got this one on a 45-degree angle, this one fully open, and we're headed in this direction, okay? Find a stable spot here. Inhale and then exhale down with a bow. And then straighten the back of your neck and stay in horizontal. And bring yourself back up. And try a different arm position as we did before. Maybe clasping your elbows. Keep that torso facing fully in this direction. Inhale and then exhale down, bowing. Lengthening your neck, maybe going a little bit further this time, but keeping your chest wide open and your back straight. And come back up. And come together back into mountain pose. Shake it out. All right, next I'd like to revisit tree, which we did yesterday. The balance pose, tree. Okay, so if you remember right, the gist of that is you've got one foot off the floor, you're doing something with your arms, and that's about it, okay? And again, as I said before with balance poses, you kind of want to find your balance first, find your calm, and then move your body, okay? So don't try to move your body first. So kind of let go of the world first, find your calm. And as I said, you can do most anything you want with your foot, all right? If it's here, that's great. Toy with lifting it up, okay? Doesn't matter. I sometimes put it here. Often people put it here. I tend not to because I have kind of a sliding foot that just kind of slides back down my leg. My favorite place to put it is kind of up here. And that makes me feel stable there. Whatever works for you. And then find a home for your hands. Can be here, can be here, can be wherever you want. If you start to fall, stop, relax, do it again. When you've had enough, come back to mountain pose. And when you've had your moment in mountain pose, try it on the other side. Feel your breath, find your balance, lift that foot off the floor. And place it wherever you want. Okay, let's head to the floor. We're going to start with reclined pigeon pose. There is a pigeon pose that is more supine, sitting up. It's a pretty nasty pose. I'm not going to share that. I shouldn't say nasty. It's challenging. But this one is much easier. Okay, so we can do this without causing ourselves too much pain. So first lie on your back. And we're going to bring one leg up and rest ankle on knee. Okay? So that's the beginning. And then the plan is that we lift that knee off the floor and we reach around and we grab that leg behind your thigh. Okay, so what are you feeling? You should be feeling some stretch over here in your thighs and your hips. And if you want to pull that forward a little bit, increase the stretch, you can do that. This is the kind of stretch that goes deep into your muscles and connective tissue, and the more patience you have and the longer you can hold it, the better. So just find your relaxation, relax everything else. Time to start slowing down. And just let that stretch do its work while you don't even try to do anything else. And then we'll switch. So feet back down to the floor, put the other ankle on the other thigh, and then reach around and bring it up. If you can clasp those hands, or if you can grab it anywhere, whatever works for you to hold it up. And then again, just sink into the floor and let that stretch your hips. Keep breathing, keep relaxing. Just feel the energy that you created by doing all those other poses. And feet back to the floor. And we'll do one more twist. Yesterday we just kind of moved our legs to the side. This time we'll mix it up a little bit. Cross one leg over the other. Arms out to your sides. And then bring those legs down toward the cross leg. You might feel that stretches your hips just a little bit more. Try to keep your shoulders both flat on the floor here. Palms both flat on the floor. You can kind of gaze off in the opposite direction from your legs. But try to relax here. And when you're ready, come back up to center. Switch legs. And head down the other side. Shoulders stay on the floor. Head looks in the other direction. Breathing is relaxed and steady. And back up to center. And now you've earned your Shavasana. So bring your shoulders down away from your head and take just a minute to kind of tuck your pelvis under to bring the flat of your back, the small of your back into the floor. See if you can bring that in and feel that against the floor. And then from there, holding the small of your back into the floor, straighten out your legs. And then once you've straightened your legs, then release your back. Let your legs fall out to the side. Reach your arms down toward your legs and let them drop into the floor. And now it's rest time. So start to let your body sink into the floor. Time to use no muscles at all. And try to start tuning yourself into the rhythm of your breath. See if you can focus on nothing but your breath. And begin to let your breath feel like waves in the sea. And then let your body move along to your breath as if it is floating on the sea. Like the Dead Sea, where there's so much salt that it holds you up and you don't even have to try. Completely relaxed, using no muscles. Legs are relaxed, arms relaxed, torso relaxed. Head and shoulders completely relaxed and floating on the rhythm of your breath. Floating on the waves. Relax your facial features, eyes, mouth, jaw. Completely relaxed and just floating on the rhythm of your breath. Picture yourself just in the wide open sea, just gently floating. Takes no energy, no work, completely relaxed. The water is warm. And the rhythm of your breath is just floating you along. When you feel ready, start tingling your fingers and your toes, wake your body back up, bring your feet up flat, and slowly roll yourself up to a sitting position. Take your time, bring your body back to life slowly. When you're ready to open up and eyes and face the day, the rest of the day, kind of set your intention to maintain this calm and this centeredness and take it with you. We'll close this class by saying namaste, or I will. You don't have to. You've probably heard that before, another yoga cliche. Namaste just means I bow to you. And you don't have to ever do it. If a teacher says namaste, you can do this, you can bow, whatever you feel like doing, no obligations. But basically it's just an acknowledgement. It works like aloha or shalom. It can be a parting or a greeting, a hello or a goodbye. So namaste.